All right, and I've got 8 o'clock, so want to welcome you guys in. This is Dave, Tango Delta 6, from my home office down in, I would say, sunny but still chilly Tampa, Florida today. We actually touched 32 this morning for the first time in a year or so. But we're excited to be here tonight. This is a Tier 2 presentation, an AMA. We have joining us tonight is the team from the VesTally token, which is going to be John, who is Urban Legend, who is the lead developer for the project, and also VTT James, who is their vice president of operations. They have a quick presentation that they're going to stream for us, so we'll get that started here in just a second. And if you guys want to, we will have some Q&A at the end. So please make sure you keep your lines muted during the presentation. And then at the end, if all of the questions we already have set up are not answered, you can raise your hand and request to speak. So with that, John and James, are you guys here with us?
Yes, we are.
Fantastic. Well, I see that you've got your screen loaded up with like a presentation that you want to share with us tonight. So can you just, as part of your introduction, just kind of say who you are and where you're from and a little bit of your background, and then we can hop right into the VesTally presentation that you brought for our Tier 2 subscribers tonight.
You got it. My name is John Urbanski. I'm the lead developer with VesTally token. I grew up and live in the Chicagoland area. A lot of my team does as well. I've been in technology for the better part of 20 years. I have a master's degree in computer science, an MBA from Penn State, and I love technology. I love the blockchain. I like being involved in technology. I like helping people. This project is near and dear to my heart. The people involved in it are near and dear to my heart, and we're really excited to do this AMA with TangoCrypto. We have some of our team, I think, in the audience. James is on our team. He's the VP of operations. He's around as well too. He may chime in, but I think I'm going to lead this presentation and happy to answer any questions. Encourage everyone to chime in with questions. You might have a question that you think you know the answer to, but maybe someone's afraid to ask. So get any questions out there. I'm happy. This is my opportunity. This is an opportunity for me to really show you guys what I've been working on for a long time. I'm really proud of this project. I'm really proud of the time that went into it, and I'm really excited to talk to you.
Well, cool. We appreciate you being here, John, and go ahead with your presentation, and then we'll do questions when you get it wrapped up.
Wonderful. So as part of and can I just ask as I start, can you see my first slide? Who is
Yes, sir.
Token?
Yeah, we have you open and running. You're good to go.
Great. So I'm starting off with, I thought I'd parse through this quickly. I don't want to give everyone here death by presentation. So I'm going to do the who, what, whens, and wheres of VesTally token, and excited to get to any questions afterwards. So I'm trying to preemptively answer questions with this presentation to use all our time wisely. So we're starting off with who is VesTally token? Now, VesTally token, as I mentioned, is developed by a team of professionals who appreciate crypto and blockchain projects. Our dev team is comprised of 6 team members who are enthusiastic, warm-hearted, kind individuals. And of course, that's depending on who you ask. There's some days when my wife doesn't think I'm all that great. But I also like to call to attention that you guys are VesTally token. You know, our token is community driven. And we take feedback not only from our holders, but anyone we're interacting with. And it's important that our proposal strategies are discussed, and we intend for all of our future proposals to happen live in our Discord channels and over our social media platforms. And we're going to bring our vetted proposals to VT holding community for vote and action. That's a big part of our project, and that's the big part of our utility is the voting, the governance, and letting our holders help us become successful. I think it's a simple idea. The contract wasn't that complicated to deploy that methodology, but it's, the beauty is in the simplicity. It allows people to really interact with us, and it also allows us to put those proposal initiatives on the blockchain where we have a historic ledger of what we decided and why. Lost connection. So I'll start over. What is VesTally Token? And VesTally Token is a deflationary reflective token deployed on the Binance Smart Chain. Proposal strategies empower our community, giving them a voice for adapt development in our charitable initiatives. Transparent smart contract functionality exists, and we're happy to go over our contract in depth. And we are a reward and reflection token. 5% reflections of our own token go back to all of our holders. Our rewarding tokenomics, token governance, make VTT the ideal token to buy, hold, trade, and utilize. Next questions we saw coming up, when can I get involved with VesTally Token? And kind of how I alluded that you're already part of the VesTally Token community, you already are involved with VesTally Token. We appreciate the questions. We want our community to feel comfortable with their decisions, and we wanted to do this AMA to set minds at ease before they decide to get involved with our project or not. Our pink sale goes live tomorrow at 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. That's February 1st, 2 p.m. Central Standard Time. The pink sale contract is our opportunity to build liquidity and bring our project to its first decentralized exchange, which is going to be PancakeSwap. And then a lot of questions that come up when we're talking about our project kind of involve, can we predict the future? Yes, we can. We can predict the future. Well, anyone's predictions can be off. We can make pretty good guesses about the future. And we can make those guesses based on what we know about ourselves and our project. We know that our team's dedicated to the project and to our community, and we focus on attainable goals. Our goal is to provide more utility. We ensured that our project had some form of utility, that's our voting and holding transparency, before bringing it to pink sale. And we as devs are driven and motivated. Now, there's a lot of great projects out there, a lot of good things to get invested in. There's a lot of reflecting tokens and rewarding tokens. And the ones that do well are the ones that have dev teams that care about the project and the community, that trust their dev team and invest in it. So we know that's important, and we think we're the kind of people who can really bring this project to success. And I saw a lot of questions come up about pink sale contracts, liquidity pool. I'm going to actually dive through the pink sale documentation and give you guys a little bit of the secret sauce that devs see when they're setting up their pink sale contract. Let me pull that up. Pink Sale Finance is nice enough to provide a little doc, a Google Doc that you can edit to do some of the math when you're deciding what you want to do with your hard cap, your pre-sale rate, your listing rate. And this is exactly the tool we used. This isn't our copy, this is the one I pulled off their site, made a copy for Tango Delta. But you can set your token supply, your pre-sale rate, your listing rate, and your liquidity percentage all in these boxes. And these are just static boxes where you put in your own variables, and then that tells you, it calculates for you how many tokens you as a developer need to supply the pink sale. And then it tells you if it works or not. You know, if you put in these numbers and you have this calculation, it basically checks, do you have enough tokens to do what you say you're gonna do? Now we did these numbers. We did an 800 hard cap. We have a quadrillion tokens. Our pre-sale rate's 500 billion. Our listing rate's going to be 400 billion per BNB. And those kind of numbers work out. Now, what does pink sale do? So pink sale gets 2% of the BNB we gather, no matter what. And then it says, okay, these guys said that they were going to lock 70% of their liquidity in their liquidity pool. So that's what the 70% number goes. It tells you how much BNB of the 800 that we're bringing in goes to our liquidity pool. So 549 of those BNB go to the liquidity pool, and they're locked there for a year by our smart contract. That leaves us 235 BNB to do things for our utility and our functionality and actually get things deployed. That's the kind of what pays the bills for contracts. Now you'll see some projects that do, 100%. They lock it all up. They have enough to get going without needing to utilize any BNB brought from pink sale. And some projects use less. we monkeyed around with these numbers. We came up with 870, 540, and this is what we got. And so we're bringing 220 trillion tokens into the liquidity pool and tying that to 549 BNB. And that's what gives PancakeSwap its BNB initial price. So that first trade, the first person who makes their swap trade, this is their trade rate. And then from there it goes on how much people are buying or selling. So I know that came up. There were some questions about that. I'm happy in the AMA afterwards to go over that in more detail. So I wanted to get that out there. I wanted to show you guys our pink sale contract. It has a lot of that information, and people were asking about minimum buys, getting in, are they on the whitelist? So here's a great way to find out if you made it to our whitelist. When you scroll in here, you'll see this list, and when you connect your wallet, you'll see if you're on the whitelist or not. And if you are, if you're not, it'll say right here, you are not in whitelist. And once you get approved on the whitelist and your wallet's connected, you'll be able to put in your max BNB and submit your purchase in 18 hours and 46 minutes. That's going to be here before we know it. It's exciting times. You can also, there's also lots of great stuff on here too. You can see our audit, which our audit was done by FreshCoins.io. You can follow that link, and that link should take you to our audit. And also on our links page, we have our KYC. Some people have asked why we don't have a KYC from Pink Sale. So our Pink Sale contract, we utilize FreshCoins.io because they're an approved Pink Sale auditor, and we got a package deal to do our Pink Sale and KYC with FreshCoins.io, so we went with that. We could have paid more to Pink Sale to do a little KYC with them as well and get that logo up there, but we decided not to because all of our faces are on our website, and we're happy to discuss our project with anyone who asks. That's the thought process there. Our social media links are up here, and whenever you look at a Pink Sale contract, you'll see their social media links, and I encourage anyone to follow those, check it out, talk on their communities, get involved. You can see our Pink Sale address, you can see our token address. What I recommend everyone do when they're doing Pink Sales is go through and make sure that, a good thing to ask people is, are your wallets and contracts going to receive the reflections as well? So our owner wallet does not receive reflections. Our marketing, charity, and project wallets do not receive reflections. We're going to have an 18% burn. We had a 4% private sale. We have, and actually that's a good time for me to show you our webpage, because all those numbers are broken down on our homepage. Some detail in there. When you look at our Pink Sale contract and you scroll down, Pink Sale says, okay, these guys have 29.6% unlocked. I have no control over what Pink Sale says, and I can't update those numbers to show them our intention for that unlocked amount. But what we can do is on our website, we can show you that 63% of our tokens are locked in the liquidity and Pink Sale, 18% are going to the burn, 8% are in our dev team, and that's locked on the Pink Sale contract. So our dev team's 8% of tokens gets released every 30 days, 20%. So our dev team's going to have their 8% of tokens all released over the course of half a year. And we left ourselves 7% of tokens for operations to do things like, fund markets when we, if we bring this to some kind of centralized exchange and we want to bring tokens to those markets, and we want to, utilize that token piece for that work. So that's the breakdown of that 29% that you see on the Pink Sale site. That question came up a few times on our AMA, on our Discord and in your AMAs, so I wanted to go over that very clearly. And again, happy afterward, if there's more questions about it, to continue going over that. And then let's make sure I covered everything that I thought was a great question in case it doesn't get brought up next. Do we have plans to reflect BUSD instead of UTC? I think reflections are great. I love, like I see so there's some romantic folks in here. There's some other reflecting folks in here. Reflections are great, and I love projects that do it. We wanted to just reflect our own token for our own reasons as developers and as the project. We do have plans like to maybe possibly roadmap doing vesting of some sort, or maybe utilizing another smart contract to get in that space. But again, that's the exact kind of thing for an app development that we would bring to our Discord community and maybe bring that to a vote. So yeah, nothing's off the table, but we only wanted a roadmap on our page, things that were instantly attainable, knowing what our resources and time are. So that's where we went with that. And I saw a SWOT analysis question, which made me laugh because I could tell there might be another MBA or business school person in the chat room with us, and I thought that's great. And we have done analysis on our strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, and where I see, biggest threats, possibly a weakness, is, tying our token exclusively to BNB. If BNB doesn't do well, this project probably won't do well. If BNB goes to zero tomorrow, our project's going to go to zero tomorrow. But if BNB does well, our project's got a good chance of doing well, on top of all the other utility that we're adding into it. So yeah, it's certainly a concern. That's a threat, possible weakness. There's lots of opportunity. I think, my team thinks that the NFT marketplace is a great opportunity for reflection tokens and our token in general. We actually developed, I can show you guys another little secret sauce here. We're working on an NFT project, and it's spellbook themed, and like we have pretty talented and creative people on our team, and they've built a little story and timeline and artwork, and we want to bring that kind of NFT project into our own dashboard, and that's a possible future utility, and something that might increase our volume, our transactional volume, because as a reflective token, another maybe weakness, if you want, like a business stated weakness, might be, okay, well, we're a self-reflected token. We're charging 13% tax on these transactions. That discourages people from trading, but our holders want to earn reflection by holding, so it's really volume-based, right? So we need to encourage volume transactional metrics here. And so what's our strength? Our strength is being able to foresee that and bring kind of that functionality to our community and make sure that our community is on board with that functionality. That's a nice thing. We're not handing the reins over to the community by and large. We are bringing good options to our community for them to give feedback on. And I think that kind of directed guidance for DApp, it really lets us talk to, our community. We're talking, hundreds to hundreds of thousands of potential holders, and how do you get a feel for what these people want to do? And not everyone's right, not everyone's wrong, but if we give them the best of three good options, we can get sentiment from our community and that helps us stay in touch and like keep our finger on the pulse of what our community thinks is important. And I think that's a great strength that we have. I have some great whitelist and pink sale information to share with this community. We have enough room to open up 200 more wallets, so I feel like the Tango Delta community is going to have a great opportunity to get involved on our whitelist and on our pink sale. I feel like you guys are going to have a pretty good opportunity to actually get the BNB loaded up in your wallet and actually finalize a pink sale with us. Questions came up on why did we choose 10 BNB? Why did we choose 800 BNB for our hard cap? And I've heard people say, you should have done 1,000, you should have done 1,500, you should have done 500. And that's the thing, everyone has an opinion. We did a lot of research. Evergrow is a great project that I looked at, and they had a 10 BNB max, and I saw some other really great projects that had 4 and 5. The nice thing about having a lower max is you can get more of your community involved. And when we were speculating, we thought 10 BNB and 800 BNB hard cap. We charted things out, we came up with numbers, we had discussions, and based on the information we had then, we made the choice that we thought was best. Looking back, I might have changed it. Why we didn't change it is every time you change things like that, like I can go on my pink sale contract and I can update the words in our description. But if I want to change our BNB hard cap, if I want to change our minimum and maximum BNB purchase, I have to redeploy the pink sale contract. And this late in the game, I didn't want to give bad optics of, hey, these guys are changing up last minute. Then you really get FOMO going, and you get fear, uncertainty, and doubt. You get a lot of people not really trusting you. And we're people who want to, as a team, we want to let you guys know that we're confident in our decisions and we stand by our decisions. And we are dynamic enough to change things and make things right, but we want you guys to feel comfortable with us as decision makers. So that's where we're at there. Some people asked about future utilities. I touched on that for NFTs, niche marketplaces, possibly doing staking. Those are all on the table. Nothing's roadmapped as far as that goes. We want to make sure what we do roadmap is something attainable. We're using our own blockchain software for the voting system. It was developed, we have on our site, it's a JVM that runs, and it allows you to vote by connecting your wallet on whatever proposals we initiate, and then those proposal votes get locked on the blockchain. We're going to set up a timer for it, and then we'll act on those votes once the time limit is passed. And we're going to communicate all of that in our Discord and Telegram, social media posts, and website. So the community will have time to join in and take care of that. Yeah, we love reflection tokens. We got excited when UGC came out. We got excited when SafeMoon came out. I like Tango Delta's approach, the 141. I like the investment opportunities. I like diversifying my portfolio personally. A lot of my team does too. We're heavily involved in a lot of these. On the top of my screen, I see like the some rheumatic faces, and that's a great example of a token I like being a part of. And we're fortunate, we feel fortunate that we have a community here that helps vet these projects, and we feel very fortunate that we got to know Coach and spoke with him and got to explain our project to him, and Coach asked some tough questions with us, and we're really excited after we spoke with him. So I have a note here to make sure that the 70% liquidity is completely understood. I think I went over that pretty well. And that, I think, was my final question that I thought was, needed to really be delved into. I want to end my presentation with a big thank you. I understand that everyone here's most valuable resource is their time. And I appreciate you spending some of your time with me and my team, learning about our passion and a project that I've spent a good portion of my life bringing to maturity. I appreciate you all, and I wish you all nothing but success. Whether or not you decide to join our pink sale or not, or whether or not you wait to see how the pancake swap goes, I think this is a great community, and I wish you all success. And with that, I know I probably missed some questions that came up through the chats, and I'm happy to take those now.
Fantastic. Well, thanks for the presentation. I really appreciate that. My first question is just about the mechanics of it. So if you were to completely fill that pink sale in a short order, does that mean you're going to launch right away?
Yeah, that's a great question. What we want to do is, as soon as our hard cap is hit, we want to give the community 24 hours to get, we want to give a 24-hour notice and bring over that pink sale contract to pancake swap manually within 24 hours. So let's say tomorrow at 3 p.m. we hit that hard cap. I'm going to announce on our community, you guys can announce here, that we're going to probably do 3 p.m. the following day to finalize the contract and bring those funds to pancake swap. That gives people a day to collect their tokens and get their wallets ready, get ready to do whatever they want to do when it comes to the DEX.
Cool. It looks like there was a very similar question that got repeated a few times. And I think the gist of it is when these tokens basically hit the ground, they hit the ground running, they pump, right? You see the initial drop off if there were any bots and such, or holders that, you know, were satisfied with pre-sale. So they're maybe not the long-term investors like we are in this group, but they're quick to exit. And so the question becomes, you know, what happens during that 30 days or 60 days right after opening? What, like, I know that you're saying that you've got the ability to let the community kind of vote on what's next, but do you guys have like a short-term plan, I guess, to try to keep interest in the project right after the launch?
Yeah, we do. We have a pretty decent marketing plan where, you know, we have, I think, a reasonable timeline for what we want to deploy, and whether or not the token, you know, 10x is the first day or drops. We can build our utility, and the way we want to build utility, we have the resources to do that. So I think as we add utility and functionality, and we maintain our marketing strategy, I think, you know, I think we very well may follow that typical J curve of a token that has everything you want in it, and then, you know, we might have to weed out some bot traffic and some of that, but I think we're well poised to take care of that.
Good. And I know you covered the 70%. That was in there a lot, and that just, does that kind of come back to the what shows up on the pink sale page? Is it kind of like a glitch, or just the way that they misinterpret kind of the numbers that get sent over?
I think it might be a misunderstanding of what that 70% is, because you look at that 70% and then you see that, hey, there's only, like for us, it shows 224 trillion tokens for liquidity. That's not 70%. What 70% is, it's going to take 70% of the BNB. So we're bringing in 800 BNB, it's taking 70% of that BNB to the liquidity pool. It's saying it's locking the BNB, not the tokens.
Okay, got it. And did you talk about, like, was there a private sale rate? I saw that question out there.
I did see that question. I don't know if I answered it in my presentation, but our private sale was 4%, and we sold at the same rate that the pink sale is selling it.
Okay, so it wasn't much of a difference. It was just the folks that got in early. And I know this is more of a pink sale question, but it says here unsold tokens would be refunded. I know that's a mechanism inside of pink sale. Basically, if you were to not hit your hard cap, can you talk a little bit about that? Just so I know there's a question on it, so maybe we can just expand the understanding of that mechanic on pink sale.
Yeah. Sure can. So I think when people set that up, you can choose burned or refunded when you're doing a pink sale contract. And so that means if you don't sell all your tokens and the pink sale thing closes, will it automatically burn your token or return it back to the contract owner? We down-toggled that, and we selected refund because we figured if we didn't hit it, it would be because we didn't sell any, and we could refund them all back to our contract and try again if we had to. We didn't think that'd even be an issue or a problem, so that's just the way we chose. You can also choose to burn them, so let's say you hit your soft cap and wanted to finalize it, it would burn the rest. But again, we figured if we got those refunded, we can burn them ourselves too. Choosing the refund option, we felt left us more opportunity to do what we wanted.
Fantastic. And there was a question about, like, your entity formation. Are you guys registered LLC or have plans to do that?
We are a partnership. We have a legal team. One of our silent devs is a tax attorney, and we are, based on the timing of some of these executive orders that are coming out, we are still looking at our options. Right now, we might form as a LLC, but we are a partnership at this point, and we're going to formalize that as we move forward.
That makes sense. Let's see. You covered plans for future utilities, and I suppose along that lines, basically, just to be clear, so that I understand it, and I guess everybody else does too, as new ideas pop up that could become a utility for you guys to push out, you're basically not going to make that decision arbitrarily and then say, here's what we're doing. You're going to open it up for voting by your community.
Yeah, so the specific way we envision it is we would bring any idea, any community member's idea is open for discussion in our Discord. But when we bring our proposals to the community, those are kind of like how you vet projects. We vet in our Discord and through our dev team, we vet ideas from our community. And those vetted ideas are what get brought to proposal. And that proposal is then voted upon. And those votes are all recorded on the blockchain. And we have a ledger of what people wanted and kind of a majority rules on the best of the good options we bring them.
Gotcha. And the voting software, is that something that you guys developed, or are you using somebody else's software?
No, it's ours. It's its own smart contract that basically, it's a really simple smart contract that looks at, it imports ERC20, it looks at how many VesTally tokens anyone has, it applies that weight to their vote, and then it pushes that onto the Binance Smart Chain.
Cool. Fairly simple, right?
Yeah, very simple. It costs, I will say, if you want to cast your vote, it's going to cost you a few pennies of BNB. That's probably the only drawback. It's because every time you write to any blockchain, it costs something. So, writing your vote to the blockchain, there's a little cost for you as a community member. So the vote unfortunately costs something, but it's a small price to pay to get your vote and your decision on the blockchain.
Awesome. And, recently we're hearing and seeing of other tokens that are basically forming coins. They're going to form their own blockchains and kind of host their own space, so to speak, where they can, be a little more, have a little more control over the governance, so to speak, of their tokens. Do you have any plans to migrate later to some of these emerging chains that are coming out with all the different tokens that are doing that?
It is super interesting. It's also interesting, like there's lots of options to migrate your tokens and exist on multiple chains at once, which we've looked into. I know that there's difficulty involved too if you run your own blockchain. If you have your own blockchain, you need your own nodes, and you need a community that can stably support that, which comes with the operating costs, and you have to determine how that community will, are you going to do proof of work, proof of stake? How are you going to do that? So those are conversations we've had, and I've worked on like Litecoin branch type of, which are Bitcoin branch type of coins. I think it's great if you can pull it off, and that, again, that's one of those things that nothing's off the table. We're happy to look at those, and if we get feedback from our community that, that's a direction that they're interested in, that might be something we would bring to a vote in the future, and I'm not talking this quarter, next quarter. That'd probably be a longer term, more lofty goal.
Awesome. I saw another one out there that was, it sounds like it might be a little more of like a personal history question, but it says, regarding the dev team, what influenced you guys to do this project? And is there anyone in the crypto space that you look up to or maybe have built connections with that have helped you in building the project?
Yeah, I'll tell you my personal story of crypto. Like, it'll only probably take 2 minutes. But I got involved in crypto really early on. I had Bitcoin when it was like worthless, and it was fun to just play with. And I had Bitcoin locked up in Mt. Gox when Mt. Gox went bankrupt or basically shut down and didn't give it to you. And that was my first soiree into it. And I've been in technology for a long time, and actually, like, my son is into, like, he's asked about NFTs, and so I do, programming with my son, and I've taught a lot of people how to program, how to code, how to read code. A lot of people on my team, so a lot of our team, a lot of us are in our 30s or 40s or 50s, and we have elderly parents who are like, hey, I want to buy crypto, and like, oh man, I don't even know how I can get you started. So we've all had to help people get involved, get invested, and and explain some of these things. And actually, that was kind of how this project in particular started, is we were trying to think of a way to involve the community without them having to maybe do as much of the heavy lifting. And that was really the vision that we started with. And it's forked and changed, and as things have progressed, we've added functionality that we didn't think we would. And it's just been a really interesting ride, and we've gotten to meet a lot of great people. And most recently on our own Discord, the RMTX guys, great group of people. And I've been chatting with some of the people in Tango Delta here, a great community. You guys are lucky to be in a community like this where you can ask these questions, get them answered, and you have so many great resources. So again, we wanted to do this at AMA not only to pump our token, because realistically, yeah, we want you guys as excited about this project as we are, but I have to say, we're as excited about you as we are, hopefully as you guys are as excited about us, because this is a great community, great people. I've had a lot of DMs of people in this community just asking questions and offering to help and do some moderation for us. Very friendly and family friendly too, which is what I like. I feel comfortable having my 13-year-old son, join in on some of these conversations and do some learning. So it's unique and it's great.
So, well, thank you for that too. We are excited for the project, and just it humbles me to hear you say that. So I appreciate the kind words about our community. We're working hard to do this the right way, and all of us have our struggles and plans for how to get it done, but one step forward at a time, and we feel blessed to have accomplished what we already have in such a small time, and look forward to the future that's coming up. So I have another question here, and this is probably more theory and practice. I think it probably deserves to be a two-phased question. The question was simply, how do you prevent bot attacks on launch? But as I understand it, I think there's really no way to prevent it. So do you have like a strategy or a plan or something in place, to try to, I guess, limit or, lower the effect of bots on your launch? Do you have anything like that in place?
Yeah, so we are. That's why we have the whitelist on the pink sale. We're hopefully only have real people invited on that, but like bots sneak through, and there's really not a lot you can do after launch. Once it hits pancake swap, there's not a lot we can do. We could, if we could raise taxes right on initial launch. We would only do this if we spoke to everyone who was purchasing, and we could try to raise our tax rate. And we have a limit to our tax rate. I think our max tax total would be 25%. So we could do that for a time period to try to mediate some of those bot trades. But I think, if we want to be honest to our community, and if we want to handle the launch correctly, we go with what we got, and let the good folks who care about the project and are invested in it. Some people sell and take, and then the nice thing is, if the bot traffic does cause a little bit of a dip, that's an opportunity to buy that dip. And I know I'd probably be interested in that too. But yeah, it's a tough part, and that's like the tough part of decentralized exchanges and the bots. And you got to give the people who are programming those bots credit. Someone spent a lot of time parsing all this data to create something that can make them money. So I'm sure there might be a brilliant person out there who's creating an anti-bot system that'll work very well. And I haven't seen it yet, and if it becomes available, I'd be happy to buy it. But yeah, that's the risk we take.
We've talked about that in our classes, about how it's impossible to stop the bot, because the bot is just like, it's like a virus. Every time somebody writes an antivirus that effectively kills a virus, then everybody's back hard at work just writing a new virus. It's a never-ending cycle. It's not going to stop. There's nothing you can do to fix it. You just kind of have to accept it for what it is and press forward. But it's still a good question, because a lot of people have different approaches. The last few launches that we participated in, everybody's kind of done their tweaks and settings to try to prevent it, and it seems that nothing can stop it no matter what you do. So, but I like that question. That's why I wanted to forward it to you. This is one that I asked myself when I was first vetting the token. What made you select 5% as your reflection when we're kind of seeing a trend towards higher rates of return, so to speak, with trends getting closer to, 12, 15, 18, 20% reflections? What made you decide to stick with 5?
Yeah, I think that's a great question, and I like we have a total tax rate too. So not only do we have the 5% reflection, this all adds up to tax for holders, right? So 5% is reflected, 2% is burned, 1% goes to our project address, and 1% goes to a charity address. And the charity address isn't something I got to speak a lot about yet. But we do. Our intention is to give 1% of our VTT token to nonpartisan kind of charities that everyone can get involved with or care about. And so we want to do some kind of good, and it's not just a marketing gimmick to say we're doing something nice for people. We really it was important to everyone on our team as a dev team. But when you add up all those percentages, you get 13%, and one of the issues we have as a reflection token, and this is maybe a benefit of being a BUSD rewarding token, is you guys as our token holders to really realize a gain from that, kind of passive income you get from just holding. You don't have to sell our token, right? Or you have to trade it or lock it or vest it in the future, depending on what kind of utility we can bring to you. And so that kind of encourages just holding, but it also discourages volume, and that's the dichotomy we're dealing with this project, right? And so our plan to circumvent that, and I touched upon this in whoever asked the SWOT question, our plan to circumvent that is to provide utility and get people utilizing and trading their token, and the problem is, and so let's say we wanted to make a 10% reflection, if everything else stayed the same, we're talking a high tax.
Yeah, very high.
We could always lower burn. We could always lower, the other numbers we have there and increase reflection. And actually, that's an option because our smart contract allows us to change those tax rates. But the numbers we went with, we felt the burn rate would coincide nicely with the reflection rate, which would hedge against real fiat currency inflation. We put thought in numbers and we made graphs and best laid plans, and that's where we ended.
Gotcha. I think that's a good explanation too. I think the question probably comes from a lot of the coaching and teaching that we do is we put the highest priority on the BUSD reflecting tokens because we like the idea of getting the BUSD and not having to sell the token to get the reflection out, so to speak. So it's not that we don't like self-reflecting tokens. It's just we kind of prioritize the stable coins above them sometimes on our, if we had to choose one over the other. There was another question in here, and I think it's about maybe the language of your white paper where it says the VTT contract does not utilize the liquidity pool to reward developers in an unbalanced manner. So basically in parentheses, you put all holders are treated equally. Can you unpack that just a bit and maybe touch on what that means to you guys and what's the mission that you're trying to accomplish there?
I sure can, and I think this comes our contract is kind of a whittled down, simplified version of SafeMoon. A lot of SafeMoon contract clones are out there, exact clones, and I think SafeMoon's a great contract. I think rewarding tokens and BUSD tokens are great. I love them. I'm in them. But the problem that you might get from those tokens is when the liquidity pool transfers in and out their tied token, right? So like our liquidity pool ties a certain amount of token to a certain amount of BNB. Now, when the pancake swap trades start happening, if people are buying, they're adding BNB and taking out VTT, and if people are selling, they're putting in VTT and taking out BNB. Now, if you start doing rewarding tokens, you have to, or you can, start moving that BNB out of liquidity pools and into different places. I think a feature of our token is that we don't do that, and our liquidity pool keeps that X times Y equals K ratio, and I think that's good for our project and our token and our goals. It doesn't mean it's bad for other projects and other project goals, but I think that's worth highlighting, and it's maybe a little too nuanced for, like, because you have to understand the liquidity pool and you have to understand the smart contract. But I think it's important that we make that distinction, because people know what to expect from our liquidity pool.
Right. I agree with that 100%. So again, let's say here, holders are going to be able to vote for proposal strategies. Are you going to have like a place where you aggregate suggestions, or like you said, would you just take those as like comments in Discord or DMs on social media? Like what would be the process of a holder or a community member wanting to like make a suggestion to you guys for a proposal?
Yeah, so as we see those in our social media, we're going to encourage the commentary and the communication to happen in our Discord. We have a channel just for proposal information, and as that, like, we're going to utilize Discord and Discord tools to pull that down into a more concise item. And then us as the project team, we're going to bring what we think is the best ideas from those discussions into a formal proposal that gets voted on.
Gotcha. So you'll just have a channel for it on your Discord, and that's where everybody can try to find their way over to that and make their suggestions there.
Yes, sir.
Got it. Is this okay? This may be the hard question, and I like the way it was worded. With the massive influx of new projects that self-reflect, how is this project working to achieve longevity in a space that seems saturated and all of the tokens are basically fighting each other for market share?
Yeah, this is going to be probably my most conceited answer, not just for myself, but for my team. When you're investing in a project, you're not just investing in the utility that it brings and what you think the token can do. You're investing in the people in it. So I think the people that are already part of this project are what really differentiates us and makes us, unique among this market. There's lots of great projects out there. Some do really, really well, and some don't. I think we have what it takes to, and I think it's not just a matter of, I think we are providing a reasonable roadmap. We're doing what we say we're going to do, and yeah, it is a saturated market. There's tons of projects, and there's only going to be more. And you're going to have more and more weary people, because unfortunately there's going to be a lot of rug pulls, and there's going to be a lot of FUD, and we have to, like, what can we do to circumvent that, I think, is our biggest question. And we're responsive. We're going to have great communication. We're going to do what we say we're going to do. And then at that point, the proof is in the work. Over time, as our roadmap develops and things get checked off that list, and people see the utility there, they're gonna gravitate towards the project. And that's why us as a team, we're very careful. We would love to say, hey, Q1, we're going to have a brand new wallet. We're going to have this and that. And the worst thing we can do is not deliver on those promises. Mm-hmm. It's better to be conservative in our point of view on what we promise our community, and then actually follow through on that. So I know it's not like, maybe our project isn't the sexiest web page and we don't have, the most amazing sounding roadmap. But our roadmap's realistic, and we know what we say we're going to promise, we're going to do.
I like that. That's the thing that really convinced me when we were talking, is that you guys know what you're doing. You've got a plan. You've got a strategy to achieve it, and it looks good from here. So, are there still? I know there was a question about whitelist. Are there still spots remaining available on your whitelist? And if so, how would somebody go about getting those whitelisted spots?
All right, we have seats available. We're working with you guys to make sure the Tango Delta team can get involved on that. Again, anyone who wants to can email. We're going to do a hard cap, I think, of 400 spots. And okay. I think what makes sense doing is we certainly know that there's already a certain amount of Tango people on what we've already whitelisted. We know that there's some not Tango people on there. We're going to open up 200 more spots, I think specifically for the Tango folks. And I think all together, that'll give you guys a really good shot at closing in on this pink sale when it goes live. If we don't, like, let's say we have our whitelist set, we get to decide when it closes. If it doesn't, if we don't sell out our 800 BNB tomorrow, we can add to the whitelist. So if that 400 doesn't cut it, we can add from maybe different parts of the community and go from there. But I think that 400 list will get a lot of people who want to be involved.
Okay, and I did get a message from Coach earlier. I think the way we want to try to do that, just to try to make it efficient, is we did something similar with EverReflect with the spots that we were appropriated in that project. We're just going to create a Google form and drop the link into our Tier 2 chat, and then let everybody kind of fill that up. And then you just give me a deadline for when you need me to transmit that to you. Maybe let them have a few hours to try to fill it up. And, we'll try to ping everyone that maybe didn't get a chance to get on the AMA. And then just whenever you tell me to cut it off, I'll cut it off and we'll send it over to you via Google Docs. Will that work as a method of getting this to you?
Yeah, I think that's perfect.
Okay. I'll have that done within a few moments of the end of the AMA. And speaking of the end, that was the end of my questions. So, Coach, if you have anybody that has pinged you or asked an additional question while we've been chatting, do you have anything else that's popped up?
There's two more. Crypto Keltner wants to know, will he be able to claim before launch or after launch?
Oh, that's a good question. I forgot about. There's no vesting for the whitelisted buyers, is there? It's just claim after you transmit the liquidity?
I believe so.
Okay.
And the other one you just answered about the whitelist, so that's all of them.
Awesome.
And we got 6 minutes to spare.
How about that?
Yeah, there you go. That was you said a mouthful today, I'll tell you.
Coach, are you sick of hearing me talk yet?
Not at all. Not at all.
Well, and I tell you, I appreciate you guys too, because I know that you have joined our Tier 2 membership. That is something that you did on your own and paid for your membership. So I know you guys want to be here and learn just as much as everybody else that's here to learn. So, feel free to stick around, stay in the channel. People are obviously asking you guys questions, and if you want to use our Tier 2 chat as a place to maybe stick around and do some Q&A after this event is over, that actually would give me a few minutes to get the Google form put together and then drop the link, and then we can promote it to everybody in the Tier 2 chat, like after we adjourn from here, if that's okay with you guys.
Yeah, I'm happy to stick around.
Cool. Well, does anybody have any other questions? Does anybody raise their hand or anything, Coach?
I haven't seen one.
All right. Well, did you have any, closing statements or anything you wanted to add to the commentary here, John?
Yeah, I think I'll just reiterate the last page of my slide. Everyone here, realize that your time is the most important thing you have. And you spent a good chunk of your time with me today, and I really appreciate it. And moving forward, I want you guys, feel free to reach out about my project. And hey, even if it's not my project, if you're in my Discord or if I'm in this Discord and you see me on here and you have a question, happy to answer them. I like helping people, and I get joy out of this kind of work and these kind of people. So thank you again.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate you being here. Thank you for spending your time with us and welcoming us in and answering all of our tough questions over the last week or two, as we've been kind of knocking on your door, making sure this is something we wanted to check all the boxes on. And we're proud to say that you passed our vetting, and we're looking forward to the launch tomorrow. So if there's no other questions or no other comments, we'll go ahead and call it a night for the AMA, and we'll see you guys in the Tier 2 chat. And let me get on that Google form. I'll have it up here in just a few moments.
Wonderful. Thank you.
Thanks, guys. Y'all have a great night.
Tango, really means a lot, guys. Thanks for listening to everything we had to say.
Absolutely. Appreciate y'all's time and being here to do it.